Hey there, comic fans! Welcome back to Heroic Elite Comics, and we will have another dive into the world of Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man, a series that's been shaking things up in the best way possible on Earth 6160. This run feels like it's crafted for a more mature audience, but it's done so cleverly that it doesn't shut out younger readers. I can already picture kids flipping through these pages today, only to revisit them in a decade or two and think, wow, this was even better than I remembered. If you're loving this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and ring that bell to stay in the loop. Let's squat up in the comments and geek out together. Now let's swing into the story. We kick things off with a seemingly ordinary morning at the Parker household. Well, as ordinary as it gets when you're secretly Spider-Man. Peter Parker's alter ego is starting to make waves, with photos of a mysterious figure swinging through the city plastered across the front page of the Daily Bugle. His kids, Richard and May, are having a lively debate over breakfast about whether these images are real or just some AI-generated fake. Richard's skeptical, calling it all a hoax, while May turns to her dad for the final word. Peter, in classic dad mode, tries to play it cool. At first, he teases May, saying, "Remember when you thought unicorns were real?" When she insists unicorns are real, he just nods along because, you don't argue with your daughter's logic. But when May admits she's scared of this mystery figure in the photos, Peter switches gears, telling her to listen to her brother on this one. You can tell he's the kind of dad who'd do anything to keep his little girl happy. Honestly, isn't that every girl dad out there? As the morning rolls on, MJ heads out for a client meeting, but not before playfully asking Peter if he's been hitting the gym. Peter, with a sly, maybe a little, brushes it off, but we get a glimpse into what's been going on. It's been a few weeks since Peter embraced his great power, and he's been training hard to understand his new abilities. This isn't the teenage Spider-Man we're used to. This is a grown man figuring out his superhuman limits. He's chowing down on 10,000 calories a day. Imagine the grocery bill, sleeping less, and getting the hang of sticking to walls, though he's still working on the finesse. He's crazy strong, super agile, and his spatial awareness is, in his words, off the charts. Web slinging? He's getting there, but stopping is another story. Those crash landings are rough, but they've taught him something important. He can take a serious beating. It's a nod to Spider-Man's durability, something that doesn't always get the spotlight compared to, say, Wolverine's healing factor. But here, Hickman reminds us that Peter's exterior is tough as nails, and it's cool to see that aspect of his powers get some love. Meanwhile, over at the Daily Bugle, Uncle Ben and Jonah Jameson are having a chat that's equal parts hilarious and intriguing. Jameson's been on a coffee-only diet for 25 years, because of course he has, and Ben drops a juicy tip. There was another assassination attempt on Wilson Fisk last night, the third in 3 weeks. Fisk, as always, keeps things hush-hush, controlling the narrative like the master manipulator he is. The only thing he's let slip into the Bugle's pages is that photo of the weirdo in the black suit swinging around. Yep, that's our boy Peter. Though Ben and Jameson have no clue, Peter actually took that photo for the Bugle, but since the paper isn't officially open yet, it's a bit of a gray area. The conversation takes a turn when they realize there's a bigger story brewing between these Fisk attacks, carried out by some nut in green armor, and this new masked figure in black. One's a distraction, and the other's the real scoop. Ben and Jameson smell a story, and for their new venture at the Bugle, this is their chance to dig deep. It's their first big gig, and they're ready to hit the ground running. Back to Peter, who's out practicing his landings, still not quite nailing them. As he swings through the city, he's wrestling with some heavy thoughts. If the life you were meant to have was stolen 20 years ago and suddenly handed back, are you supposed to chase that old dream? Wouldn't that just leave you stuck, forever playing catch-up? It's a profound question, and it hits hard, because this isn't the teenage Peter Parker anymore. He's a husband, a father, a man in his 40s. He can't go back, only forward, using his powers to carve out a new path. This is what makes Hickman's take so fresh and compelling. Spider-Man was originally about a kid navigating superpowers. Now it's about a grown man with a family figuring out what responsibility looks like in this new chapter. It's a brilliant reimagining, and I'm all in for it. While Peter's lost in thought, he spots a guy breaking into the roof of a bank. Talk about timing. He swings over, quipping, "Lost your keys? Locked out? Or maybe you're breaking into the bank below." The guy, decked out in a ridiculous outfit, think puffy shirt and gold insulation material, fires back, "What are you supposed to be?" Ever honest, admits he's still figuring that out. He tells the guy he's probably meant to stop people like him. The dude, unfazed, asks if Peter's ever done this before. "Nope, first time," Peter replies. The guy plays along, acting like he's ready to call it quits. thanking Peter for stopping him before he does something he'd regret. Peter's skeptical but shakes his hand. Big mistake. The guy, revealing himself as Shocker, blasts Peter with a surge of electricity, sending him crashing into a dumpster below. Ouch. Lesson learned. Don't trust a guy in an insulated gold shirt. Also, no mixtape from Shocker, sadly. Peter limps home, grabs some ice cream because 10,000 calories a day means dessert is mandatory, and is about to dig in when May walks in. She freezes, terrified, thinking the scary figure from the Bugle is in her living room. I totally get it. When I was a kid, I was petrified of Gossamer from Looney Tunes, that big red monster. Poor May's going through the same kind of fear. Peter quickly covers her mouth to keep her from screaming, then shows her his face, reassuring her, it's okay, it's Dad. Marco Cecchetto's art makes May so darn cute here, it's impossible not to love her. Explains in kid-friendly terms how a spider bite gave him powers and promises she never has to be afraid of him. She points out he smells like garbage. Thanks, dumpster dive. And Peter laughs it off, promising a shower. To keep his secret, he bribes her with ice cream. Classic dad move. May agrees but isn't thrilled about his black suit, so Peter hints they might tweak it. Elsewhere, Wilson Fisk is in a tense meeting with Captain Britain, Henry Duggery, a member of the Maker's Illuminati. With the Maker gone, the Illuminati are running their own show, controlling the world behind the scenes while feeding the public a curated narrative. Duggery's carved out territories, handing New York to Fisk, but that Bugle story about the guy in black, Peter, doesn't sit well with their plans. Fisk brushes it off, insisting he's using the story as a cover and won't be anyone's puppet. He's his own man, and this clash hints at trouble brewing between him and the Illuminati. It's a power struggle that could shake things up big time. Later, Peter texts MJ that he'll be home late. Unfinished business calls. He tracks down Shocker, who's back at the bank, pulling the same habit. Peter quips about bad habits, dodges Shocker's initial blast, webs his face, and lands a punch that sends Shocker reeling. Turns out Peter's still learning his strength. Shocker's down, clutching his ribs, claiming he's desperate to pay for his dying wife's treatments. Peter hesitates, wondering if it's true, but Shocker seizes the moment, blasting him into the dumpster again. As Shocker flees, we see the Green Goblin lurking nearby, watching. We don't know how long he's been there or what he's seen, but his presence spells trouble. Peter drags himself home, straight to the fridge. 10,000 calories, remember? He's beaten down, literally and figuratively. In 3 days, he's been knocked around twice, accidentally scared his daughter, and revealed his identity to her. Maybe he's not cut out for this hero gig, but then he finds a note from May on the fridge, a drawing of a red and blue spider with the words, "Dad, I hope you like it. You're the best. Love, May." It's a heartwarming moment that flips his perspective. Inspired by her sketch, he decides to give it one more day, a phrase that, for once, feels hopeful in a Spider-Man story. It's a safe bet he'll ditch the black suit for those classic red and blue threads, thanks to May's influence. This issue is a perfect blend of action, heart, and introspection. Hickman's grounded take on a mature Peter Parker, balancing family life with superheroics, is refreshing and relatable. The art pops, the characters feel alive, and the stage is set for bigger conflicts with Fisk, the Illuminati, and that ominous Green Goblin. Hooked, and I can't wait to see where this web leads next. What did you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation swinging.